So yeah, without further ado, we're going to move on to our next featured reader, who is Lara Coley. So, Lara is a San Francisco native and a poet who loves grammar rules and linguistics. She draws, paints, and makes perfume, and is pretty sure she should have been a lady in waiting. She is very proud to have visual art in 3 issues of Transfer, especially the cover of the 110 issue, just last semester. Lara has stories and poems published in Sparkle and Blink, Opium Magazine, Visible Ink from Australia, and Denali, and has work coming soon in New American Writing and Red Light Lit. She writes real tough, but she cries real easy. She also has been trying to plan a night of writerly karaoke, everyone take note, despite terrible singing skills. So if interested, let her know after the reading. I know I will. Please join me in welcoming Lara.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you guys at Bellrow who are always here and are such a supportive force, and because I feel like better readers, better poets, better writers. I'm a poet, sorry, to people who write other genres. So I am trying, because I do read here somewhat often, and like Car said, sometimes we read the same things a lot. I'm trying to read things that I haven't read here. So maybe some of them suck. So sorry. Some of them, a lot of new stuff. This is actually the first thing that I ever got published in 2003, and it's called Drain You. I love you with my eyes, never my heart, or you'd fill my body, running with my blood, places you can't see, places that are mine. But if I love you with my eyes, blink, you are out of me. No need to slit these wrists and drain you. And I really do notice the lack of Casey in general. All right, this is called Where the Light Gets In. The sky flooded into her with such force, she choked up all the sparks she'd been feeding with matches. Stars circled the burns of poems she'd memorized, lighting up her eyes. Her hair shot with fire like a dry wheat field, and her skin cracked open, spun into the air in glitterings of bright memories. Her very bones split, shone like the sun. Then he looked away, distracted, and the universe folded itself neatly back into variations of distance. But when she said his name, moons tumbled from her lips, and he collected them like pearls. This one I workshopped just last week. It's called In Return. I don't know what I'm asking for when I ask for more, but you get it right. Sometimes. Split atoms in a gaze. Don't you ever get sick of sharing the same stars with revolving sets of eyes? I can't imagine a story that finishes well, so I mash dead flowers in the soil and weep onto them like sunshine. Something grows. This is not about any set of arms that held me. This is vanitas. I think there's another word for it. I think it's the green stone my mother wears. When she holds it in her mouth, the whole room tastes like orange peels. All right. I'm going to try and read this one. My notes on it look like this. I stumble around a bit. I'm sorry. The metallic taste of blood. If you and I were wounds on a body, I would say, look, this is where we enter. You would say, watch, the exit will bleed. The best way to survive is to leave. Do not stay in the pot that is boiling. Do not stand in front of a moving train. It turns out I don't like sweet girls, you said. I know. I've known that all along. What I said was a lie. I was always measuring the loss of blood. Everything important is either soft or sharp, like flesh and metal, like my language and yours. When you asked how I would kill you, I said, in bed. I'd kiss you real soft and press the nice knife you gave me into your chest. You smiled, looking almost proud. Of course, you said. Romantic. The reason I cried when I lost the knife is it was my fault. I should have checked the bag. But there was that man flirting with me, And you weren't there to ask, what about the things you cherish? I have carried you around like a bullet lodged and bleeding deep in my own chest. You are so close to being the thing that kills me, but you are also the only thing that makes me feel alive. Alright. This one is actually old, but I don't think I've ever read it in public. Shoulders. My mother is slipping out of sanity like it's a thin silk dress that glides to the floor without a sound. She is turning off the radio and memorizing parked cars. She is asking for the keys to doors that are unlocked, and I can do nothing but shrug to strangers. I am putting away my toys and answering the phone. I am making her a sandwich and I am waiting. Waiting for someone to ask the question that matters, the one I can answer, the one I need to hear. And who, my dear, is taking care of you? It's super hot. I don't know if it's hotter up here, but it's just super hot in here. Alright. Holy be my name. I want to be in the dark places, where you go looking for a word you've forgotten, but my name surfaces instead. And when you're angry at your boss and you want to scream into the void of his flaccid face, I want the elevator to echo with galloping damnations in my name. And when you're thinking of your ex and that thing she used to do that you liked so much, I want you to imagine that, but where her name should be swimming, the letters of my name float to your taste buds. And now, as you see the depth of my smiling dimple, as the indirect proportion of the distance between my heart and yours, I want to feel my name written in the fissures as brittle walls crumble in the dust. I want the dust so full of my name that you choke when you try to whisper that maybe, just maybe, I might be expecting too much. I forgot to bring the timer up.
Oh, you're great.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
Okay, it's called Hard. I pity the girls on the bus, the young ones, all angles and straight yellow hair. I know what they want. Curves, supple and round, and they will get them. No longer will they stick out their ribs to mimic soft slopes of breasts. Instead, they will begin to wish for angles, to run every day, thinking always it was so easy when they were young. I started a poem exchange with Lisa Alden, who is not here tonight. We just send poems back and forth without any sort of response other than poem, and it's been very productive, and this is one of the ones that came from it. Memento mori. This will end, is what you have to tell yourself when your eyes are spilling into your ears while he keeps pumping, his face in the pillow, you on your back, and a movement that feels like machinery driving air out of your empty chest. You're not going to come unless you tell yourself he's that tall guy who smiles too long at you, or the man with Italian eyes on the bus, or the coworker that complimented your intellect before you knew for sure that you are fucking smarter than this. You are flipping through faces like a Rolodex to just make the sounds sound real because even your voice is empty, and you are sure it will come out a sob unless you find someone you want to put where this man tries to make you love him like he loves you, tries to make you look at him like you're hungry. You're getting fat from wanting everything but him. You're getting mean from saying no when you want so badly to want to say yes. You are beginning to feel like it's his fault for asking, but he asks and you say I love you, while replacing you with anyone else when he's in your bed. You should leave. You should leave before you wake up in a home where emptiness fills the clutter, and you hear your name in his voice and it echoes in your ribs. You should leave before you lose something that makes you think you know how to love. You should leave and you think of doing this, putting on your clothes and telling him goodbye, of never having him heave and sweat on top of you again. You think of this as he throws the limp arm over you, and the thought glows orange, hot like the head of the match, about to burn the whole house down. I am reading this at the Red Light Lit event on Valentine's Day, and I will be sharing the stage with the magical Viseo. This is called Chord. I stopped eating apples when I met him, gripped by a childlike fear of losing a tooth in a flesh sturdier and sweeter than mine. And this one I brought because Evan always tells me that I should read French.
Yeah.
But he was new too.
I am.
I'll read the French first and then I'll read the English. Et après, il y a tout ça autour de la mort. Le désir crie comme des bleus, avec la force des besoins qui se croisent, les dents et la peau. Je misément étouffée dans la corde des épaules. Je me noie dans ce creux de muscles du dos. Avec chaque coup, des vagues me volent l'air. Expire des prières. Il y a un mot pour cela, mais je lis ma langue à le tien et tu lis chaque bruit. La rosée de cette nuit chaude, épaisse dans le fond de ma gorge, m'étouffe avec des vœux qui n'ont pas de nom. La vapeur s'accumule sur la surface de ta peau. Le sel, comme une mer trop lourde à porter, tout tombe quelque part noir, comme la nuit qui entoure des étoiles, des millions de kilomètres d'ici. And in English, this is actually from Brandon Diaz, one of his poems. The last line of his poem was, "Then there's that whole bit about love," and that is the title of this poem. Desire like bruises blooming with the force of needs meeting, teeth and skin, moans muffled in the curve of shoulders. I am drowning in that dip of muscle on each side of spine as the waves of each thrust steal my air. Exhale entreaties. There is a word for this, but I put my tongue to yours instead, and you read every sound. The dew of this hot night thick in the back of my throat, choking me with ones that have no names. Steam collects on the surface of your skin, salt like a sea too heavy to bear. And we fall to someplace dark, like the night that collects around the stars, millions of miles from here. Alright, this is going to be my last one. Miles and millimeters. You get points for something good, but I forget what. Maybe it's for believing something when you said it, for not knowing the difference between what you said and what you felt, for being pure. I'm gonna start over. Miles and millimeters. You get points for something good, but I forget what. Maybe it's for believing something when you said it, for not knowing the difference between what you said and what you felt, for being sure of your precision. I love you a ton and I mean metric. I wish you'd had better things to say, given me something to measure. But no one speaks the same language. We say the same words, but there is no calibration of the weights we tie to the heavy loops of the vowels in you, in love, in gone. A man in the town I'm from went to buy ice cream during a rainstorm, and a mountain cliff slid onto his home and his wife and his 2 tiny sons while he was waiting in line. There was the same distance from the store to his house that night, but was there? Can we measure that? Or the heaviness of words like driveway, that once ended at a door and then a pile of stone? Who can measure the amount of time between the moment of his wondering at the tree that slipped so far from where it grew to land perfectly upright, exactly where his bedroom had been left with the light on, and the moment when he realized what was underneath? Distance. We try to forget distances, and we hold bodies close, wrap them around us, and we forget that while one is measuring the distance to, the other is measuring the distance from, and both fit in the precise sound of something sliding down very far away, ringing in our ears, and yet silent, like mountains in our mouths.